Our politics and culture have never been this confusing, so allow me to take a couple minutes to clarify them for you. You're welcome. Americans have values, and Americans demand things work. Functionality. Values. You have beliefs, the way people should treat each other, and how society should treat individuals. The role of government, etc. You've got right-wing values, you've got left-wing values. Oftentimes, on an issue-by-issue basis, they get a little mixed up because issues are complicated and our values are emotional and essentially more simple. Shit needs to work. That's a whole separate demand that we make on ourselves, on our institutions, on our businesses, and our government. We want shit to work. So, the bureaucracy, our government, is bloated, is inefficient. There's no one in the country who will disagree that we're overregulated, that we're inefficient, and that there's a tremendous amount of waste and even corruption. Boom, boom, boom. On the other side, we all disagree in one form or another as to the kind of society that we want to create. But where we all agree is that the kind of society we want to create should work, should not rip everyone off, and that the government, at its best, whether or not it's designed to help people or stay out of their way, needs to be more of a lean, mean fighting machine. So here's where everything is getting mixed up. Trump, as we've seen, is going on an executive branch rampage to do both. He is sending the musketeers to rip all the data from the federal government, analyze it, and discover the corruption, the inefficiency, and to hopefully optimize the processes and streamline our bureaucracy. I think that that's pretty good. Do I think he should do it? He should do it in this way. That's another issue. But I, like just about everyone else, want change, want the government shaken up, and want these reforms. But what Trump is also doing is he's selective about it. He's opaque about it, and he's doing it in a way which is extending the power of the executive branch beyond the norms. Is it illegal? Well, the judiciary is starting to line up in terms of trying to restrict his actions, and we're headed toward, no doubt, a constitutional crisis, whatever the hell that means, and however the hell we're going to get out of it. But what I'm getting at is you get a 1-2 punch with Trump. You get what most Americans want in terms of fixing shit, but you get it with a whole mountain of values that many Americans disagree with, including allegedly overstepping the role of the president and mixing up all these other stuff having to do with diversity, having to do with special treatment of minorities, and having to do with an allocation of a lot of this money in areas where there's a value-based disagreement. So what can we do? The answer is nothing. We got to sit back and wait and see. We can complain. The Congress is already pushing back, at least the Democrats, and they're trying to figure out how to restrict what they consider Trump's overreach. Cool. Go for it. That's their job. But when people complain about Trump, here's what I'm getting at. When people complain about Trump and they complain about Musk, they're mixing all of this shit up. Either what Trump and Musk are doing is awesome, everything, go for it. Tear it down, break it down, put it back together. Or they're like, everything this guy is doing, everything that they're doing is horrific and awful in the end of the country. We're missing the point and we're getting confused. There could be elements of what Trump and Musk and the whole Doge and the whole administration are doing that are good, that are long overdue, and bring it on. And there could be other elements which are abhorrent or norm busting or at the very least highly problematic. Can you chew gum and walk at the same time? So let's be discerning. Let's take the good, evaluate it based on our values, and remember that there's a functional procedural component to this as well. And if we can slice and dice and just be a little bit more reasonable and accept the fact that change is long overdue and that change comes with disruption, and sometimes you got to break a few things in order to fix the overall experience, then I think we have a better handle on how to deal with it and how to accept and embrace a lot of the good stuff that's happening too.